Howdy folks, it's the second week of April 2025, and welcome to This Week in the West. I'm Seth Spillman, broadcasting from the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum in Oklahoma City. On this podcast, we share stories of the people and events that have shaped the history, art, and culture of the American West, and those still shaping it today. The Western film genre has a bundle of sayings that have become etched in movie lore. Sayings like, "This town ain't big enough for the two of us," or "I'm your huckleberry," and, as uttered by Joel McCrea in 1946, "When you call me that, smile." Today we tell the tale of the Virginian, the movie and the landmark story behind the quote. McCrea's version of the film had its world premiere this week, 79 years ago, April 17th, 1946. The roots of the Virginian begin around the turn of the century. Owen Wister was a restless lawyer in 1884 who began to suffer blinding headaches and vertigo. His doctor suggested he take some time away from his home in Philadelphia and travel west. Starting in 1885, he spent nearly every summer of his life in Wyoming and other parts of the West. His writing about the West in Harper's Magazine made him a moderately successful author, and he gathered a close group of famous friends. Wister knew novelists Henry James and President Teddy Roosevelt well, and on an 1893 visit to Yellowstone National Park, Wister befriended the Western artist Frederick Remington. In 1901, he began writing his new novel, The Virginian, the tale of a nameless cowboy, his adventures on the rough-and-tumble Wyoming frontier, and his courtship of the town's new schoolteacher. The book was a sensation. In its first year, it sold more than 200,000 copies. Wister became the nation's most famous author, and the book became a foundational text for creating the archetypes of the Western genre. Harvard Magazine put it this way: all the essential characters are to be found there. Not only the noble, nameless hero, but also the Eastern tenderfoot narrator, the high-spirited virginal schoolmarm, hostile Indians, cattle rustlers, the shrewd camp cook, the callow kid, the devious doom villain. A year after the book was published, The Virginian got its first stage adaptation, which was another hit. As Wister's Western creation became burned into the country's pop culture consciousness, the fresh medium of motion pictures found it irresistible. In 1914, director Cecil B. DeMille put The Virginian on screen for the first time. Another silent adaptation followed in 1923. But that version was quickly overshadowed by a 1929 film which put a young Gary Cooper in his first starring role. It was one of the first successful talking westerns, helping to transition the genre into a new era of movies. In 1946, a new version to rival Cooper's was released, shot in rich Technicolor. The Virginian was filmed in the ranches, valleys, and canyons of Southern California, standing in for Wyoming. At the heart of the movie was Joel McCrea, chosen for his stoic demeanor to play the taciturn main character. The 1946 retelling is often praised for McCrea's understated performance, which aligned well with the nature of Wister's protagonist. Unlike some earlier adaptations, this film placed greater emphasis on the Virginian's internal struggles, particularly with his grappling with the necessity of violence to maintain order. The portrayal of frontier justice, especially the hanging of an old friend for cattle rustling, remained a pivotal and controversial moment, illustrating the harsh realities of Western life. Reviews from the day after its debut focused on McCrea. Herbert Cohn from the Brooklyn Eagle wrote, "It was in 1929 that Gary Cooper was the gallant hero and did a right nice job of it. McCrea is equally good. His Virginian is patient but tough with his enemy, and righteously firm with the youthful cowpuncher in his outfit who steps stray from the straight and narrow." George L. David, critic for the Democrat and Chronicle in Rochester, New York, singled out McCrea, writing, "McCrea always stamps his roles and scenes with sincerity, and here he plays with a restraint and a naturalness that give the developments reality." The Virginian would go on to finish 24th in the 1946 box office, just a little ahead of the 26th most popular film, It's a Wonderful Life. Wister's story would live on in a 1960s television show and 2 more film adaptations. McCrea's career would continue into the 1970s as his advocacy for the history and culture of the American West grew in influence. In 1969, McCrea was named to our Hall of Great Western Performers here at the Cowboy. According to a history of our museum, he was so enthralled with the idea of preserving the concept of Western heritage that he became a member of our board the following year. His grandson Wyatt continues that family presence on our board, currently serving as chairman. McCrea passed away in 1990. He was 84. Owen Wister, who's a member of our Hall of Great Westerners, died in 1938 at age 78. And with that, we'll ride off into the sunset of another episode of This Week in the West. Follow us and rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you hear us. That'll help us reach more people. You can follow us on social media and online at nationalcowboymuseum.org. Got a question or suggestion? Drop us an email at podcast@nationalcowboymuseum.org. We leave you today with the words of Joel McCrea. "I always felt so much more comfortable in the Western. The minute I got a horse and a hat and a pair of boots on, I felt easier. I didn't feel like I was an actor anymore. I felt like I was the guy out there doing it. Much obliged for listening, and remember, come find your West here at the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum.